Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Riley and this is going to be my third video on my channel. This will not be a review, it's going to be more like a just my thoughts and opinions on gun control. And I'm just going to be talking from the top of my head, just telling you guys what I think and what I think about the whole gun control issue. But I welcome you guys to check out my video I did last week on the Taurus TCP. It was a quick review on the TCP, as well as a video I did the week before on the Canik TP9 SA. I welcome you guys to watch both of those videos I filmed previously. And if you like my channel, I welcome you guys to subscribe to my channel and like any of the videos that you enjoyed. And let's go ahead and get on with this video. So basically, in this video, I'm going to be talking about what I think about gun control. Obviously, I have lots of guns. Obviously, I love shooting. But I just want to talk to you guys about some of the things that's been happening lately in the news and about a lot of the new regulations and bans that have been happening in certain states in the United States. So, first of all, I think gun control itself is, in a sense, a good thing because I believe in having, thorough background checks. Guns shouldn't be too easy to get. But then again, you have to ask yourself, are the guns that are being used in all these mass shootings and gang violence, are the majority of those guns purchased legally, or are they being had from some other means? And most of the time, I can guarantee you that lots of these guns that are being used in gang violence or mass shootings, they either buy illegally, they steal them, black market, something like that. So we have to ask ourselves, even though if we do get better background checks, more thorough background checks, is that going to be enough? Because, is it even going to help the cause? It's not like, it just doesn't seem like a criminal is going to go into a store and go through all these background checks and be able to get a gun. So even if we do pass background checks and everything that it's more thorough, are people even will it even matter? Because most of the time, the only people that are going into the gun stores to get guns, 99% of the time, they are good people that aren't going to commit a crime. So all we're doing is technically doing more thorough background checks on the good guys, not the bad guys. Number two, I was thinking about, well, are all these regulations, rules, and bans helping us at all? Lots of different states have these new bans or regulations that say either you can only buy a certain amount of ammunition per month, you have to register just to buy ammunition in general, or there's lots of different regulations in other states I'm not going to name, like you can't have more than a 10-round capacity magazine, etc., etc. Do these small regulations and rules really impact the amount of gun violence in America? I honestly don't think so. Why? I just don't get the thing with some states having you register to buy ammunition. Is that really helping us? And I guess you just have to answer that question for yourself. Do you think all of these regulations is making America a better, safer country? Or is it just giving us more paperwork to deal with? Because again, you have to look at the whole bigger picture. Are these criminals getting their guns legally? And if they're not, what's the point of doing all the more paperwork? What's the point of all these regulations if the criminals are just getting their guns in an illegal way? So essentially what we're doing is we're regulating and limiting the amount of firearms and ammunition that good people can use. We're not regulating the criminals because they could care less how they get their guns. We're regulating the people, which I don't really think is, a good idea. But a lot of people think otherwise. And a lot of it has to do with, the news, the media, how they represent guns. And a lot of times it's been proven that guns have been misrepresented in crimes, news. And some people just don't want guns. They think, now that times are different, the Second Amendment is something that's outdated, and it was something that applied to older firearms. It does not apply to AR-15s, AK-47s, semi-automatic rifles. That's what a lot of people are arguing, that now we have these big, we have these Glocks with 33-round magazines, and this is totally this is not what the Second Amendment was about. And honestly, I think that is kind of stretching it. That's kind of, the amendments were made to protect us. There are rights as Americans. And if we change that, what's next is what I'm trying to say. If we change the Second Amendment, what's going to stop people from changing the First Amendment and so on? I feel like these amendments are there to protect us, and they're there to help us. So we can't go around changing them and expecting nothing to happen. One of the things I truly believe is that these firearms are here to protect us from the government. I'm not saying the government's a bad entity, but there has been lots. So don't get me wrong. I'm not anti-government, anti-military. I love the government, love the military. But what I'm saying is there's been issues in the past where certain governments have been extremely corrupt, and they've slaughtered their people. They've done terrible things to their people. And guess what? The people couldn't fight back because they had no means of doing so. And I would hate to see the U.S. government get into the same situation where we were controlled by our government and something bad happened, and for some reason the government got really corrupt and it became like a police state and we couldn't do anything about it. That's not where we want to be. The government is for the people. The people need to own the government. They need to run the government. Now, I know a lot of you will disagree and say, the government already owns us, but as it is now, it would be hard right now for America to be oppressed by its own government because so many of us could fight back. So many of us have guns, etc. And all I'm saying is that there's so many countries that in the past years, 50, 80, there's lots of governments in the past that have oppressed the people, and they have, just slaughtered the people, and the people couldn't do anything because they have no means of defending themselves. So you have to ask yourself, is this Second Amendment for protection against these people taking our guns away? And if it is, if that's really what the Second